What's up and welcome into Locked On Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave Watson at BOW, BAWL Sports. You can follow us at Locked On Bulls. And today we are very pleased to welcome to the pod for the first time. He is a Chicago native and an actor who you might know from his work on the hit Fox show New Girl, the new Hulu series Woke. And if you are a local around here in Chicago or the burbs, you might recognize him as the new spokesperson for those hilarious BMO Harris Bank commercials. He is the one, the only, Lamorne Morris. Lamorne, welcome to the pod, man. How are you?
Peace and blessings, gentlemen. Peace and blessings. Take one. Take one. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Doing great, man. Doing great. I wish our listening and viewing audience could have seen everything over the past 15 minutes that led up to this beginning of the interview, because that was some gold shit right there.
Yeah, you guys, man, you guys didn't have your act together, and I just had to come in and save the day. That's kind of what I do on these things. Yeah, I'm technologically savvy.
Yeah.
I legit thought you were pranking us for a minute because, you know.
Well, maybe. Here's the thing, guys. Maybe I was. You never know.
The look is what is perfect. I was just saying, the look is perfect.
And not true to form, it was the perfect level of prank. Not too big, not too small, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You got to have a sweet spot, okay? You got to have a sweet spot.
Right. Lamorne, like I said, we appreciate you being here, man. Let's start at the beginning. So you are originally from the city of Chicago. At some point, moved out to the burbs. Actually, shout out Glen Ellen. We discovered we are both from Glen Ellen, Illinois. You went to Glen Bard South. I went to Glen Bard West.
Wow.
We have a little rivalry going here. But so, you know, what, like myself, like Big Dave, growing up in Chicago in the surrounding burbs in the 90s, I mean, was your entire childhood about Michael Jordan and the Bulls?
Yeah, absolutely. My entire childhood. I remember, I want to say it was 1990. I had to be about 7 years old. My grandmother, they were immigrants from Belize, my family, and I'm first generation here. So I remember just hearing my grandma scream at the TV all the time, like always screaming. And it was either the Cubs or the Bulls, and I didn't know what was going on. So finally, I started, you know, coming in the room with her and watching. And I just remember this saying, this one, you know, vivid scream or yell I would always hear from her room. It was always, "Yes, BJ! Yes!" She was always screaming that BJ Armstrong did something clutch, you know, and I didn't know what she was talking about. And I just remember watching those teams from 1991, I want to say, and on. Yeah, man, that's when I realized who Michael Jordan was. You know, that's when basketball became a big part of my life.
Was BJ your favorite then? Because of that, did he become one of your favorite players on those teams?
No, because honestly, I was a little bit confused at first. I didn't know if my grandma was having sex with a guy named BJ, or if she was, you know. So I was a little as a kid. I was very traumatized. But
yeah, it's a safe space. It's okay.
Yeah. So it hurt me a lot because I didn't know who is he my granddaddy? Because I don't know that dude. No, Michael Jordan was immediately like my favorite. You know, come on, let's be real. Yeah, you know, to me,
when you were a kid, like, were you in the driveway or at the park, you know, pretending to be Michael Jordan with a buzzer beater, stuff like that?
Oh my God, our whole neighborhood, the kids were. You know, we had we were broke, so we didn't have. I mean, we had the park. We had Fernwood Park. This is on the south side of Chicago, so we have Fernwood Park.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so but by our house, we had a tree that our grandma let us nail a crate to. So we had a crate, and she bought us the little small basketball. So we used to always just play against each other.
Yes.
And I remember my cousins were always better than me when I was a kid. And then one of my cousins, Ian, you know, God rest his soul, he passed away in Chicago a while ago. But he was the one who taught me how to play because he was nice. Yeah. Ian was nice. You know, and so I always wanted to just beat him. And eventually I got like good enough to the point where it was like I was a problem. I was a real problem on the crate.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, those crates of teeth, those crates you put up in the alley on the
Yep.
pole right there, man. The red one or the black one. We played on the garage in ours. You know.
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
nice.
Yeah.
It must have been nice to have a garage.
Yeah, wasn't bad. It sucked when the whole neighborhood's back there tearing down, your gutters, but because you dunking on it, but it's outside. It's what it is.
Outside, exactly.
It's what we do. You know what I mean?
So did you have like a favorite bull from the dynasty years? MJ aside, if he is at the top of that mantle for you.
Man, I gotta say Scottie Pippen. Hold on, let me. This is a Pippen jacket that I'm wearing right now.
What?
Oh,
very
nice.
Wow.
Very
okay.
nice.
All right. Well done.
I love Scottie Pippen.
You and Zach Guilford both. Zach Guilford, fan of the pod. He's who put us in touch. He's a diehard Scottie Pippen guy.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you think about that's the reason why I'm such a big LeBron fan in a way, because Pippen did a lot of everything. Pippen was the guy who did the intangibles. Mike was like, I'm going to guarantee you 35, 40 points. I'm going to guarantee you a victory, but I'm going to need you to do everything else, young man. And Pippen was like, gotcha.
Right.
And I love Pippen because, even when Jordan retired, Pippen still had, you could see him blossoming into pretty much MVP caliber player. If it wasn't for Hugh Hollins, we could be looking at
my God,
history could be different.
That 93-94 season, man, he was incredible.
Yep. History could be completely different, but yeah, I gotta say Scottie Pippen, or one, and this is not from the dynasty years, but one of my favorite Bulls of all time. I guess maybe we'll get into that, but one of my favorite Bulls of all time didn't play very long for the Bulls.
Okay.
Jay Williams.
Ooh.
I was obsessed with Jay Williams from college. Really? Man, I love Jay Williams so much. And then when obviously
the motorcycle accident,
I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So yeah, I'm I Pippen, and then I would probably go and say, I'm not gonna say Pete Myers or something. I think you're probably asking me to say something like that. No, I'm not gonna say Pete Myers.
No, I definitely never want you to say Pete Myers.
Legendary Bulls coach, in addition to being a legendary Bulls athlete.
Yes. But honestly, that says a lot about your fandom, though. That Jake Williams was your guy. Like, you didn't leave the team, when this stuff was going bad.
Exactly. Man. I it's crazy. Every time I watch him on, I think he's on ESPN.
Yeah.
Every time I watch him, I just kind of go like, because sometimes he'll have a debate about what basketball is like to some old veterans who've been in the NBA for a while. And every once in a while it gets dismissed because he didn't play that long in the NBA. And I'll be sitting there just like, man, if this dude would have played even 5 years, he would have been light years beyond any of you guys. Like, I get so pissed.
Yeah, man. It was a tough one.
Let's just clear this up right now, because you just mentioned your admiration for LeBron. You are an LA-based actor, correct?
Yes.
So
yes, I am.
I was doing a little snooping on your Twitter timeline the other day, getting ready for this interview, and I happened to notice that there are an awful lot of tweets about the Lakers, and they sound like tweets from a disappointed fan. Have you converted and adopted the Lakers now that you live in LA? Because that's like heresy, dude.
Let me explain a couple of things to you guys right here, because I'm probably older than you guys. I'm your senior as far as age and wisdom.
Maybe, Dave. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was born in 1954. You guys.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm wise. Super wise. So have I converted to being a Lakers fan? No. I mean, yes, but I'm a fan of anywhere LeBron plays.
Okay.
So you're a LeBron fan.
I'm a LeBron fan. I've the only team that I, no matter what, will be a fan of, the Bulls. But like, if LeBron leaves the Lakers, I'm not a Laker fan no more. You know what I mean? I was a Cavs fan for years, but I don't wear my Cavs socks no more.
Yeah, Cavs socks.
I got Cavs socks. I got Cavs neck tattoo. No,
right. Cavaliers across my back.
Yeah, it's right here on the scalp.
Inspired by Kenyon Martin, I assume.
Right? Yeah.
The architect of the neck tat.
Oh my gosh. No, but I will say this. I'm a big LeBron fan. So, if you snoop down my Instagram timeline, I predicted, and I'm wrong, but because of the Lakers, I predicted Bulls Lakers finals at the beginning of the season, and so I'm Bulls right now.
One of those things looks like it might happen. I don't know about the Lakers. They need to get their shit together.
No, I don't know about the Lakers, but the Bulls for sure. I mean, DeMar DeRozan's got my vote for MVP right now. I mean, just come on, guys. Come on, guys. He's revived his career. San Antonio put a damper on his spirits, but now the guy is just playing in rare form right now. But I will say this also, and I know this is going to be controversial for you guys' podcast, and I don't care. I don't care. And I'm still from Chicago, and I don't care what what the fans say. Please don't stop supporting BMO Harris. I need that.
All my money out.
LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. Yeah, LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. I went there.
Explain. Well, you must explain then why.
I mean, Michael Jordan is a close two. I think no one's ever said that before, and so we get all hurting in our feelings about it.
Because it's not true, but please continue.
Because if you told me Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time, I'm not going to argue you because I watched him play. And I'll be like, yeah, they're right. But there's small little things that LeBron did to me that eclipsed him over Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Right? Such as, like we talked about earlier, Mike had I don't want to say he had one role. That's not fair. Mike was the greatest scorer to me that we've ever seen. Pippen led that team in assists, rebounds, blocks, steals. Like he did all of that. Mike wasn't asked to do all that and still get them over the hump in the fourth quarter. There were certain games where he would have a ball out game. LeBron was asked to do that since he was 18 years old. And when he didn't do it, it was like, yo, he sucks. Every single time he failed or missed a shot, he sucks. It was like, man, I got to carry Jamario Moon to the finals. Okay? Jamario Moon? Booby Gibson? I got to carry Booby. There's a man named Booby on my team, and I got to get his ass to the finals. Michael Jordan walk in, you see that clip of the ref talking about Michael? If you say it was a foul, I'll believe you, Michael. I'll believe you. Man, he had everybody wrapped around his pinky.
And you don't think LeBron gets preferential treatment from NBA officials?
No. What? Okay. Michael Jordan was damn near leading the league in free throw attempts. LeBron ain't.
That's because he can't shoot them.
Doesn't matter. Michael Jordan is a better shooter. Yes. Does LeBron shoot out a better field goal percentage? Sure. Does he shoot better from three? Sure. More buzzer beaters, sure, but we say he's not clutch. History loves to be revisionist. It's very we love to say Mike never missed a shot, but we forget about that commercial where he talks about how many shots he missed.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
But I mean, LeBron's most iconic moment in the NBA Finals is a chase down block of an 85-year-old Andre Iguodala. I mean, like. What? Kudos. Way to go, Ron.
But he beat a team, but he beat arguably the greatest regular season team in NBA history.
Well, Kyrie,
but rigged. Because Draymond was suspended. Yeah.
Rigged? What are you talking about? Draymond missed one game. What was he doing the rest of those games? LeBron averaged 40 on him. You put a 40 piece on somebody's head like this, you can't say, I missed one game. It's like, if you were here, I would have put this other 40 on your head. What are you talking about?
See, the only thing to that argument I can agree with is the help, because immediately I think of Kyrie Irving when you say those things. And when you talk about those 40 pieces, when he had 40, Kyrie had 40 as well.
One game. Kyrie had 41 game.
The biggest game, they needed it. Like they needed that.
He didn't have it in the fight. He didn't have it in the game 7.
That's what I was getting to. In game 7, he hit the biggest shot that you needed to actually win the game. So you can't do that without him. No,
I didn't say you couldn't do it without him, but could Michael Jordan win any of those championships without Scottie Pippen? How about this? Without John Paxson hitting the game-winning shot. Oh, we forgot.
We don't talk about John Paxson.
Without Steve Kerr hitting a game-winning shot. We act like that didn't happen.
Mike passing the ball,
Without Scottie Pippen guarding Magic Johnson. We act like that.
Lock them down.
The Lakers were about to dust the Bulls if Scottie Pippen didn't lock up Magic.
Oh, that is nonsense.
They were dusting them.
They won one game. They won one game that Mike missed the shot at the end. That is not a dust. In game one, Jordan missed the final buzzer beater. It went in and out, and they missed game one. These are facts. If we're gonna talk in facts, let me talk in facts, baby. Mike also averaged 33 and 11 that series.
Yeah,
so that's
LeBron averaged a triple-double in the finals.
And the one they lost, yes, it was amazing.
No, and the one they won.
No, L's.
And the one they won, the championship in Cleveland. 27 points, 15 rebounds, 11 assists.
He's amazing. But a lot of them L's, I'm not saying nobody's debating the amazingness of LeBron.
Look, I understand. Here's the only argument that I would say when people make the Michael Jordan argument, they go, he's 6-0 in the finals. I go, I absolutely agree. That's got to be, that's like to never lose in the finals. But my question is, you got 6. Where you been, man? What about the rest of those years? You just got smoked. There's years you didn't get out of the first round. He didn't win one playoff game until until Pippen got there. He only won one until Pippen got there. I'm like,
MJ put up 100 points spanning 2 games in the Boston Garden when he had literally nobody helping him against Bird and one of the greatest NBA teams of all time. Yeah, and you're gonna knock MJ for that?
You're knocking LeBron for taking Zadrunas Ilgauskas to the finals as a 21-year-old.
Ilgauskas was an all-star. Like,
please don't
put the respect on Big Z. Put respect on Big Z now. I give you Movie Gibson. We had Jason Caffey, Dickie Simpkins. You want to go to these places? You know what I mean? We got Bill Whittington. Shout out Bill Whittington. Bill Whittington was our main guy out there. No, I was in the Knicks. That was a regular season dunk.
Oh, well.
No, you can't be revisionist in your history. That was at the Garden when Mike dropped the double nickel. Come on, man.
Bill Wennington combined for 57 points.
But that double nickel would have went for nothing if Bill Wennington wasn't so clutch.
Right. With the pass from who?
Yeah, sure. He had the pass from MJ.
All right.
He had the pass from MJ. But every time LeBron dimes into somebody for a wide open shot and they miss, we go, look at him. He should have shot that.
He gave it to him for a dunk. All he had to do was put it in. Not
LeBron gave it to George Hill in the finals game 1 after he put up 51 against the Warriors with Kevin Durant. George Hill missed the layup. J.R. Smith doesn't realize the clock is going. You know what I mean? Like, there are things like that. That's what LeBron had to play with. Mike at least had some high-level thinkers on his team. You know what I'm saying? Guys with clutch genes who wasn't scared of the moment. Maybe that's because of Mike, because of how he used to beat him up in practice.
It's incredibly because of Mike, yes.
But at the same time, LeBron manages to still be friendly with all these dudes, still enjoy his life, be cool.
Come on.
He don't got no enemies on his team. Talking about LeBron kicked me in the dick during the practice.
He doesn't have any enemies until at the end of a season where he doesn't succeed. He blames his teammates who aren't good enough, or at the trade deadline says y'all ain't good enough, and then GM LeBron trades his entire team away.
Listen, you can't say LeBron says that. That's y'all who say that. That's the media who says that.
Oh, right.
If you've ever heard him say y'all ain't good enough, then you got to go. Then raise your hand.
Yeah, fair enough.
Raise your hand. We can. The narrative is always interesting. The narrative is always interesting when the media spins it in a certain type of way to fit a certain narrative to say he is a certain type of way. I'm not saying he's not, and he could be a dick. I don't know the guy.
Right. You want the facts, though. Yeah.
But the facts, the facts come out in The Last Dance, for example, about Mike and how he was, and and we us from Chicago, we know some of those stories. Like, Michael's a monster, and in a good way and in a bad way. Yes. But I choose the nicer approach in my life, so I can, you know what I'm saying. And when you look at it this way, his GMs haven't been besides Miami, his GMs haven't been the best to surround him with the people, that he might need.
He is the GM.
He is the GM.
He's not, but okay, if that's the case, if you're saying he is the GM, how is that a bad thing? Because Mike didn't need that.
I just said he is the GM. Like,
Mike
you were thinking like it was about to be an excuse. I'm like, No, LeBron picks the team.
Matt,
Like,
Matt,
and the players
look
they
on
want.
Matt's face.
Okay, okay, that's fair. I can't speak for Matt.
Dude,
I can't speak for Matt.
There's no secret that that MJ despised the Bulls GM. MJ hated Jerry Krause and let him know it every day. Everybody, Bulls fans as a populace, just auto hate Jerry Krause because take the side of MJ, not the team's general manager. But it's different with LeBron because a lot of people believe that he is actually the one pulling the strings and pushing the buttons. He is the GM. So he doesn't have a GM to blame when the team is not properly assembled, aka what this Lakers team with aging pieces and minimum contract guys looks like, because LeBron's the one that said, get this guy, get that guy, get this guy.
Right. But okay, if he doesn't have anyone to blame but himself, Matt, my question is this to you. Why did he have to do that?
I think he took it upon himself.
But why? His team was never good.
Mm-hmm.
He video game James, when he had to go against Detroit, for example, when he scored 29 of the 30, he had to shoot every single time. That's not his game. We know that. LeBron is a distributor. He's not like that, like the scorer like MJ. He's not Durant. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, I'm the best scorer on this team, and they can't stop me from scoring. So I'm gonna have to do this every single time down the floor. I don't want to have to do that. Dan Gilbert, if you're not putting no guys around me, guess what? Peace. I'm out. Right? Leaves, goes to Pat Riley, who's like, I know how to put a team together. Wins a couple chips, goes back to Cleveland. And guess what? Same thing happens. You know what I mean? The team wasn't necessarily that good, but you had Kyrie. But we talk about how great Kyrie is, and I think Kyrie is one of the greatest players of all time. Yeah. But the man never sniffed the playoffs.
Yeah.
He never sniffed it.
You want to talk about bad teams?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was horrible, man.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, And then now, obviously, even with the Lakers, they had to ship off some pieces, but guess what? They won. They're not doing it now. They didn't do it last year, but they definitely won getting Anthony Davis. And
first round exit.
First round exit. But he was hobbling on one leg. LeBron was coming back from injury. He was hobbling around on one leg. Sure.
All right. He made sure to let people know he was, I'm coming in with a bandage this big, wrapped around my ankle. Like, I don't know, guys, like got a wheelbarrow that he's got his foot in when he comes in there. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. All right. But listen, I love LeBron. He's in my top 3 for sure. He can become number 1, but he still got work to do, in my opinion, man. He still got things he got to do. If you're trying to eclipse that kind of ghost, you know what I'm saying? Like he's got work to do.
I get it. I totally understand you. But it's almost like we take away points from LeBron for getting to the finals.
Oh no,
I think that argument is ridiculous.
Points for losing.
He made the finals 10 years in a row. That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, but he lost some of them. I get it. He lost 6 of them, sure. But who dominates a decade in a conference? Mm-hmm. Like everybody who's in that conference is like for a decade that we can't. There's no way. LeBron's playing, no matter who's on his team.
That's true, and that's one of the main differences for me between Mike and LeBron. And this final thing I'm gonna say about it. That's one of the main differences for me is LeBron. I watched dominate an entire conference for a long, long time, and Mike I watched dominate an entire league.
Yeah, like, not for a long time, but
everybody
for a short period, for 6 years.
Okay,
I'm gonna say 8 or 9, but yeah, sure.
this will be it, and then we'll move on because we could talk MJ LeBron all day, and we gotta be gracious with Lamore's time. So you said that you are not necessarily a Lakers fan now; you're just a LeBron fan. You're a fan of LeBron. You root for him, whatever team he's playing on. LeBron was undoubtedly a huge enemy and antagonist for Bulls and their fan base, spanning the years of Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Tom Thibodeau. Whether it was Cavs Part 1, Miami, or Cavs Part 2, the team LeBron played for knocked the Bulls out of the playoffs 4 times in the span of 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
In those series, were you a Bulls fan or a LeBron fan?
In those series, I was. That's the only time that I go, I'm not mad at the outcome. I can just watch basketball and be like, yo, I really want to, like, I just want to see a dope series.
I think you got to take that Bulls jacket off. I don't know.
No. You know what I will say? You know what I will say about team versus organization versus player is that, and this goes back to the GM conversation. At any given, when you grow up, playing sports, even watching sports, you don't gravitate towards, unless you're really small, you like the colors of the jersey and the logo and all that stuff, but you gravitate towards the player, who's doing the thing. You gravitate towards those guys. Let's say you grow up, you guys are lying if you're telling me you didn't watch all the Wizards games that Mike was playing. You watched it. You wanted them to win. Why? Because if they won, that means MJ won.
I was actually pissed at the time. I was still young, but I was pissed that he came back and put on a Wizards jersey. And I was a diehard, fan of a Bulls team that was winning 15 of 82 games.
That's the difference right there. The Bulls were hot trash, bro.
see, you are a victim to marketing, my friend. You are a victim to marketing. Okay,
sure am. Check out my closet. It's chock full of Bulls crap.
You are a victim to marketing. I go like this. I want to watch good basketball. If my team is only winning 15 games, let me tell you what I'm not going to do. Sit there and get my popcorn and block off my day and tell them I can't meet you over here at this time. I got to make sure I get work done early so I can get home to watch this trash ass team play. No, I want to watch some good basketball. Good basketball. If you 15 and whatever, I better get floor seats for $3. Okay, and free nachos. You know what I'm saying? You got people with parking lots crowded, people in rush hour traffic just to go see this dog shit team play. Fuck that. Are you kidding me? No. Where's LeBron at? I want to go watch some W's. I want to go watch. Mike play for the Wizards, dropping 40 pieces. I'm watching the Wizards play. I want to see him succeed. Okay. When LeBron switches team, LeBron could go play for the Los Angeles Sparks next season. Let me tell you something. I am watching the Sparks every game. Not sure I watch them sometimes, but when LeBron put a wig on and start balling out for the Sparks, God damn it, I'm watching the Sparks. He can go hit the Chicago Sky today, and I am a Chicago Sky fan.
He's going to have to come at the Chicago Sky defending WNBA champs, baby.
I know.
I'm rolling with the Sky, by the way.
Shout out to Candace Parker, my neighbor.
Hey, shout out.
Yep. So I mean that's why I appreciate the players more than I do the organization, because a player can just ship off your favorite player,
right?
And then you're like, okay, I guess I'm a fan of the moves that this guy who's never played basketball makes. Right. I'm a fan of his moves. No, I don't want to do that. I want to watch that. I want to watch Vince Carter jump over somebody's head. You mean to tell me I can't root for that anymore because that dude said he had a bad contract and I wanted to ship him off somewhere, or he cursed somebody out in the locker room, so he's a cancer in the locker room? You know what I mean? Like things that don't matter.
I get what you're saying, but for someone who's saying, more so follow the player, the star, not the team, the NBA has shifted now. And those star players who have the biggest followings of fans as individuals, regardless of which team they play for, they are not getting shipped off by a GM or exec who doesn't like them or their contract. They themselves are the ones shipping themselves off because they're not happy where they are and they want to move. And whether they're under contract or not, those star players in the NBA have that power now to say, get me out of here. I want to go there.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them having the ability to control their own careers and destinies. Doesn't mean it's always good. Doesn't mean it's always, look at what Ben Simmons is doing right now. I don't like, that's shitty for Philly. That's very shitty for Philly. So I'm okay with it when I'm okay if you're Damian Lillard, you know what I mean? And you've done everything in your power to try to win. And we know how we are. Look, we talk about the greatest players of all time. We go, Mike's got 6 chips. Dame is like, man, if I had Pippen on my team, maybe I'd have won at least one. If I had some good IQ guys around me, maybe I'd at least got to the finals, you know what I'm saying? And been put in this category because we all want to be like Mike. We all want to get to that level. But if we're not surrounded by these players, the GMs aren't putting us in positions to win, then we got to go somewhere where we can. And it's frowned upon because it's like you're chasing something. And we compare it to Mike. Mike didn't have to chase. He didn't have to chase. Kevin Durant, people get on Kevin Durant for going to that Warriors team. I do too. But he's looked at differently now. Tell me he's not. You know what I'm saying? He got rings. You can't tell me he's not looked at differently. Right now, people are putting him in that top 5 category all time. Because for a finals, he lost.
Mhm.
I mean, not even in the finals. For playoff series, he lost against Milwaukee. People are like, "Oh, you see that? Look, if his toe was a centimeter smaller, he would have been Michael Jordan." You know what I'm saying? Like, but if he hadn't won those championships, we would have been like, just another failed series for Kevin Durant.
No, you're right. You're absolutely
Mhm.
right.
So
Hey, who did he
Dame,
beat to get them championships? I'm sorry.
what'd you
Go
say?
I'm sorry. But no, I wanted to ask
He
you.
beat LeBron and J.R. Smith. Okay,
Yeah, right.
He now
Correct.
plays collegiate golf. Let's put it to you that way. I got a 4.0 GPA.
Stand
Enjoy
up,
golf.
stand up, NCAA.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask because we were talking about teams. I wanted to ask you about this team, like because you
Mhm.
thought that they would be, in the finals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Start of the season, but has anything surprised you though? Like as far as how they played, how well certain players have been?
DeRozan has surprised me, and the reason being is because I forgot how good he was. I knew how good he was in Toronto, and he kept coming up short in Toronto. I wonder why. King James,
LeBron.
LeBronto.
LeBronto,
I'll go ahead and say that one for you.
Yeah. So he gets to San Antonio, and that system that Pop plays in, it's kind of hard for stars to be true stars. You know what I mean? You're Tim Duncan, you're just great. You're just that great, so you get that notoriety. Kawhi Leonard, you know what I mean? But DeRozan wasn't getting that shine in San Antonio. So now in Chicago, I was shocked that I just thought Zach LaVine would emerge and he has. And I thought everyone would rally around Zach LaVine. Lonzo on a break with LaVine is insane. And some of those pieces are nice. But I didn't know DeRozan. I didn't know the return of the mid-range jumper was like that. Like
Yeah.
it's like that. That game against LeBron, that game against the Lakers, I was like, this dude. I was like, this dude don't miss.
Yeah.
This dude is, and he's been hitting game winners, and that's the part that surprised me. I don't hear enough MVP talk about him, which is shocking.
It's true.
Yeah, a lot of people have LeBron ranked ahead of DeMar in those, mid-season MVP rankings, and look at what the Lakers' record is.
Yeah.
Speaking of, and I know that you're not identifying yourself as a full-fledged Lakers fan, you're a LeBron fan, but talking to other Lakers people out there, is there a great sense of how much that fan base misses Alex Caruso and wish the team had kept him? Because Bulls fans loved that dude from the first minute he put on a Bulls jersey.
He fits better in Chicago. He's got more of that energy, that grit, that Chicago, that Bulls fans love. When I say do Lakers fans, when you ask do Lakers fans miss him? Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
This guy is a lockdown defender. He can jump out of the gym. He can hit, timely shots. He can finish at the basket. When he was playing with LeBron, it was almost like that two-man game was perfect because they both can finish at the rim. So it's kind of like who you want to get dunked on by the bald Mamba, or you want to get dunked on by LeBron. Like either way, you're like, man, all right. Like that pick and roll with those two was nice. And now you see it now. Caruso has always been like a high IQ guy as well. And you see it now. They're missing some of those things. They miss a lot of those guys. You know what I mean? I want to say they miss Kuzma. I'm not 100% sure because he's so streaky. But like, you can date this even further back to Ingram, Lonzo, Hart. You're like, Jesus Christ. They did ship off some players. They won one chip, but like now the league is it's young. It's those guys. You know what I mean? If you imagine that team right now together with all those players they shipped off, those young pieces, that's a champion. To me, that's a deep playoff team even without LeBron. If they would have stayed together long enough, you know what I mean? So I think the Bulls got a the Bulls got a hell of a player.
Yeah. What's been the best thing for you watching this Bulls team this season? Like, because for me, it's actually going into the fourth quarter, seeing that they're losing with 5 minutes left, and I'm like, they still will win this game. Like, I haven't had that feeling in about 4 years. So that's like one of the best feelings. What's the best thing for you watching this Bulls team this season?
The best thing for me is watching the progression. When I predicted that the Bulls were going to the finals, you can go back and look at some of the comments. People are like, bro, you crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, one of these teams making the finals and it ain't the Bulls. You know, they were doing a lot of that. And then to slowly start watching analysts like change their tune. Because you could see them before, they were like, you know, the East has got some threats. You know, they got Brooklyn, you got Milwaukee, you know, you got Philadelphia. If Ben Simmons gets his acts right, you got all those boys. You got Toronto and those boys. You got Miami, Jimmy Butler and all those boys. And sure, you know, maybe the Bulls, you know, but anyway, and then now.
Excellent Stephen A. impression. Top notch. Although you left out the phrase "of the world." That's you got to throw that in there 2 or 3 times per sentence.
Of the world. Okay, I'm talking. You got Jimmy Butler. Okay, you got Kyrie Irving. I mean, they got his box office. Okay, you know what I'm saying? He's box office. Come on now. And you got Miami. Oh, I love Miami so much. Ooh, South Beach. I can't wait to get to South Beach. Ooh. But Chicago. Come on, man. Ain't nobody talking about the Bulls. The Bulls. Michael Jordan ain't walking in. Derrick Rose is not walking through that door, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
And then you got Kendrick Perkins over there. Kendrick Perkins doing the exact same thing. He's like, well, you got, like I said, you got somebody like Giannis, 6'10", walking through the door. My grandfather always told me,
get buckets.
Oh, man.
Get buckets, big fella. You preaching the gospel today, big fella.
Hey, piece chicken with the biscuit on the side.
Poor Perk
up a 40 piece.
tried to say Vucevic and damn near had a stroke. That poor guy.
Oh my God. So I would watch all these analysts talk, and then now the tune is changing. Now that's my favorite part, is watching everybody, you know, reverse on their picks and go, well, you know, the Bulls are the Bulls, you know. Now I'm like, okay, that's my favorite part, is watching everybody backtrack.
I just have, you know, I'm sure you get them all the time, so I'm only going to ask one new girl question. But seriously, man, I freaking love that show. And I'm not just saying this. You're my favorite character on that show. Winnie the Bitch is a gem. One of the things that I like about it is you and you know, Nick, aka Jake Johnson, and your Chicago past together.
Yeah,
is it just a coincidence that you ended up playing this character from Chicago? You know, when I was a baby in the hospital, somebody put a tiny little basketball in my hands. You play professional basketball. When you play for that team in Latvia, you even have like a Dennis Rodman-esque hairdo. Like, are these all coincidences, or did you tell the writers, girl, like, hey, I want these to be elements of my character?
That's what it was. So in the beginning, Jake created that element of Chicago for his character. Because you know, Jake Johnson, he sounds Chicagoan, like hardcore, like especially when he puts it on, like when he's like, he's a true vocally, he's a true Chicagoan, right? And so that's his favorite character to play. And so I was a replacement character. I came in on the second episode. Damon Wayans Jr. left. I came in, and they hadn't written a lot for me. So I was finding my footing as the show was going on. We were trying to figure out all these things. So they had leaned on me. Hey, you know, what do you want? Where's your character from? You know, Jake Johnson and I had a little bit of rapport before the show. So we said, we're from Chicago, grew up together, Bulls fan, you know, all that stuff. Like we made sure we added it into the storyline. So the Chicago for my character is definitely was my idea. And, you know, all the Bulls references, you know, all the Dennis Rodman hair, the basketball stuff, that's all that all comes from Chicago.
My favorite episode, well, I have a couple, but my favorite one was when you all went to see Prince. At
my God, yeah.
Mainly because one of them was because watching you and Coach
yeah.
Nice, which was awesome. But just also seeing Prince, like, What was that like, man? Actually getting to see Prince, speaking to him. What was that like? Can you break that down for me?
Oh my God. It was still to this day one of the weirdest, coolest moments of my life. Like it wasn't, it's not an exaggeration when people describe him walking into a room as him floating. I'm not joking. You're so focused on him that you don't realize that he's walking. You're just like, he's arriving. He's arriving. But then you look down and you realize he's wearing clear heels with lights inside of him. You go, oh, well, that's
he really
cute.
is floating.
Yeah, it's like wearing those old British knights with the lights. Those are cool, man. But it was great, man. I remember, one of these moments. We had some like dope, like Alessandra Ambrosia. Yeah, I think we had Clayton Kershaw on that episode. Like, it was just a cool energy that he brought to that. And we had apparently we had requests from all these different like celebs who wanted to make appearances in that episode. And I remember, we had to replace someone in that episode, and Prince goes out of nowhere. He just comes up to me. He goes, Lamorne, so can you teach Damaris? I think that was her name. He's like, can you teach Damaris how to look surprised? And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, we had to do a replacement and she's going to fill the role. And so she has to come down and she sees me performing and she looks surprised. Can you teach her how to look surprised? And first of all, he's talking so low, but everyone can hear him, right? And I was like, oh man, it's like he put little speakers all throughout the place, and he didn't want to hurt his voice. And I was like, why can I hear you perfectly? And I know for sure you're like internally speaking.
Right.
And then so he asked me to teach her how to look surprised. And I was like, okay. I was like, what, like right now? And then Damon goes, yeah, Lamorne. Goes, teach her how to look surprised. And then all the guys are looking at me now like, yeah, Lamorne, you're gonna do it? You're gonna do it? You're gonna do what he said? And I'm like, oh man, is Prince sunning me right now? I was like, oh my God. And I was like, all right, I'll teach you how to look surprised. And he goes, no. He goes, no, right here. Do it right here. Do it right here. And I'm like, okay. And he sits down. And he's like a kid. He's like yes, like I get to watch a performance. Oh, and so here I am teaching her how to look surprised. I'm trying to do a bit out of it. I'm just like, like doing stuff like that. And he's like, no, for real, do it like a real one, like a real surprise. So I do it. He's like, oh my God. He's like, that's really good. He's like, dude, now just do what he did. And then she's trying to do it and she can't do it. He goes, you're not doing it. He looked so disappointed. He was like, you're not doing it. You're not doing the surprise look. You're not. I was dying. I was like, what is going on? But man, he was so smooth, and like, I didn't want anybody to have pictures and have their phones out. In fact, we had the rap party and he showed up to the rap party, right, for that season. And he comes and he has security with him. And I remember people having their phones out. Everyone's got their phones out trying to record. And his security had these little strobe lights, like a little box that you couldn't actually get a picture of him. That it was just these little things going off around him. So if you tried, the only way you could see him is if you came close to him. Right. And then you couldn't have your phone. Otherwise, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of energy he kept around him. In fact, he designed the whole set.
Really?
He picked out our wardrobe.
What? Wow.
Yes. He was like, yeah.
When he was just dressed, when he was changing up clothes. So that was his tailor. That was his custom designer. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, dog.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, there are stories about him being very particular about a lot of things, and just like, I'm Prince, I'm going to choose this, I'm going to choose that. Like, did you hear the story that Carlos Boozer, former Bulls legend, told back in the day about renting his house to Prince while Boozer was away playing in the NBA? It was a house in Cali, and he rented out his house to Prince, who like apparently changed everything I'm talking like
What?
hard reconstruction everywhere.
Painted it.
Completely changed the layout of the house. Like built a giant fountain in like the front hallway or some shit.
Yes.
And then like at the end of their rental agreement, just left. And Carlos
Whoa.
Boozer came home and was like, what the hell? This isn't my house. And got in touch with Prince's people, and he just sent him a blank check and was like, here, fix it.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I would have took that blank check and bought a new house.
right?
Right.
Well, I keep this house, but then I'll buy another house. Thanks, Prince. That's a cool.
And tell everybody Prince furnished this house. And
Yeah, exactly.
Value will rise. Yes.
I mean, it would have been a museum right now.
All right, Lamorne, you've been so nice to spend some of this time with us. We'll let you get out of here. Dave, I think you had one more quick question about one of Lamorne's more recent works, right?
Yeah, your show Woke, which I'm absolutely awesome, by the way, man. I really,
Thank you, brother.
enjoy that. Great cast too, man. The cast.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we got T. Murph from Chicago as well.
Yeah, local comedian, man. I've seen him perform. Yeah, he's really, really good. So is it basically? I want to know: will there be a season 2 of Woke that we can look forward to?
Yes, there will be a season 2. Season 2 is we just got our release date, April 8th. April 8th, we will be dropping on Hulu. This season, is crazier. It's you can look forward to a lot more weirdness from our cast. The theme behind season 2 is, our character Keith Knight wants to, he has this voice now. He has the megaphone and people are listening to him, but he doesn't have a clue of what he should say, or even if he should. And when he does, it ain't necessarily the right thing he should say. You know what I'm saying? So he's a guy trying to be an activist who probably shouldn't be, who might be sending the wrong messages to folks. Maybe he's not. You never know. So the question behind this season is, when you got the megaphone and you got the money, like, what are you going to do with it? You wanted it, and this job ain't for everybody. Activism ain't for everybody. And so I think fans will really love season 2, no matter what political side of the coin you're on. To me, it goes beyond politics on the show. But I feel like everyone could gravitate towards it. Just one, because it's just a funny show, it's just comedy, and it's just with some cool characters. But 2, if you could leave with an idea in your mind, I think we've done our job. Yeah. So season 2, Woke, April 8th.
Awesome.
Keep an eye out for that season 2 of Woke on Hulu, April 8th. In the meantime, you can follow Lamorne on Twitter at Lamorne Morris to keep up with his career and maybe read a few of his sad Lakers tweets when they let him down on a nightly basis. Maybe. Hey, you know what, Lamorne? I'm just gonna say, just splice some positive Bulls tweets in there to just balance it out. Maybe you'll be a happier person, on a day-to-day.
Look, I'm not a disgruntled person by any stretch of the imagination. You know what I mean? I'm a very happy person.
Yeah,
okay?
You seem like it. Yeah,
I'm fucking happy.
It's just radiating from you right now. It's amazing.
Go Bulls. Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Bills.
Bills.
Lamorne, thank you for being with us, buddy. For my co-host Big Dave, Matt, saying thanks as always for listening, Bulls Nation. Until next time, see Red, be good. Peace out.
LeBron James.
Oh, you can't end on that.